What's up, guys? It's good to be back. Had a crazy winter, got a trip to Cancun, had my friend pass away, unfortunately. Had to recover from that. RIP to my friend Chris. My wife is now pregnant, and we're going through week 9-ish right now, and I've been running around town just getting the foods that she wants to eat, and that takes an hour at a time to drive 30 minutes there, drive 30 minutes back. Could be traffic. Been really catching up on life as well, and got all these excuses that basically I feel like the average person, and this is really putting me in that mindset and kind of just feeling what the average person goes through. Right? You get all these busy excuses that come up, and here I am giving those excuses myself, and it's just so easy to stop doing these videos. It's so easy to stop doing the workouts and stop focusing on the fitness journey, but luckily, I'm glad to say that the only thing I really dropped the ball on were these videos, but I've been staying on it with the training. I'm constantly getting my steps in, and I'm still over 30 pounds heavier than my recent competition weight. I have been bulking ever since then because I've been triggered to do so because I didn't rank in the world championship, and I'm planning on bulking for another year to really just put on the size that I need to be competitive, especially with the competition these days. They're looking absolutely insane. But I have been putting in the work. I have been just continuously trying to eat 4,000 to 5,000 calories to gain 2.2 pounds more. I am now 192.2 pounds. Obviously, I'm aiming for 200 pounds total. I've never gotten that accomplished in my life, and the recent high that I had was 183 pounds. So I'm nearly 10 pounds heavier than my recent high, which was about, I want to say around 8 years ago. It's been a while. And I was not looking the way I'm looking right now. I had way more fluff. I didn't have as much conditioning. It seemed like the weight was going directly into the fat and not the muscle. But this time, it's going into my muscles clearly. You can probably tell from my shoulders and arms, but really you guys got to see the conditioning of the abs. Still somewhat decent conditioning. The shoulders, biceps, and triceps still have really decent conditioning for myself. I'm like, hey, that's not bad. I'm a whole 32 plus pounds heavier than my shredded competition weight, and there's this whole body dysmorphia where you feel like you're getting fat and you're not shredded anymore after a competition. But I'm not really going through that because I'm keeping my conditioning somewhat intact, and it really applies to what we're going to talk about today in this video, why recomposition feels impossible, and really how to make it finally work at any age. And it all comes down to what you're seeing my physique go through. I'm getting shredded for these competitions, then I'm bulking back up, but I'm really making it a point to not let the fat come back on the bulk. You guys really got to see that part as the erasing of the metabolic strength, the foundation of hormone improvement, and just wasting all your time. If you bulk back up and you gain a significant amount of fat, like what was going for me, when I was 183 pounds in the past, I was just getting fatter and fatter. That is really where you dig yourself a hole. getting even more fat on the body is going to raise estrogen, and there's an inverse relationship between estrogen and testosterone. And if you're already overweight and you decide to bulk and continue bulking hard, eating 4,000 to 5,000 calories per day like I am, you're going to pack significantly more fat than me, and you're going to dig yourself this hole that a lot of people are getting into pretty much all across the world, applying the wrong methods, the methods that make insulin sensitivity extremely low, the methods that make anabolic signaling much, much weaker. And these two things are absolutely needed to recomposition the body properly, or else you're going to continue to revert back to the dad bod, right? More fat on the body, muscle that just seems to fade away and get lost every time you cut. This cycle is going to continue to happen if you guys don't recomposition your body the right way. And that's what we're going to go over today. So, guys, recomposition requires the body to do two opposing tasks at once. It's to lose the stored fat and then to gain muscle at the same time. But as you guys will probably know, yes, it's possible for my clients to do that on the first cutting phase, but when you're already elite and seasoned and you've developed quite a bit of muscle, it's still possible to lose the fat and build muscle, but there's nothing as effective as taking the fat loss phase absolutely serious and then building back up with no fat on your body at all. A lot of people can do the fat burning and muscle building, but it's really for a current present day kind of look. When you absolutely put your body through super stressful situations where you're trying to get rid of the last bit of stubborn fat, you're trying to get rid of lower chest fat, back fat, and you put yourself through a temporary dip in energy levels and even crash your hormones further, it's tough. But that is the sacrifice to get the recomposition to happen very, very effectively and finally get the glucose transport to work the best so the muscle can access the glucose, right? And then getting the insulin to stay lower so that fat storage isn't prioritized all the time. You really have to focus on the hormones and keep that insulin low with lower carbs, less meals, not eating breakfast every single day, and help it get to lower levels. Because once it stays elevated for too long, that fat storage is going to continuously be prioritized. How are you going to recompose properly if the insulin resistance is so prominent and still there and the insulin sensitivity just can't come back online? Because the body just doesn't choose muscle growth unless the conditions are completely primed. What is a primed condition? It's getting all that fat off, getting shredded, getting competition conditioning. What do most guys do that they never get what I'm talking about? What do? It is they tell themselves that I don't need to get shredded. I don't need to do all that. You know, I'm happy with my weight right now. I'm gaining weight. I'm trying to get to an even higher weight as they continue to pack on more fat. This is the one variable that a lot of guys just have not tried. They haven't gotten completely shredded. Every time they try, they do it completely wrong, and then their energy gets destroyed. They crash their testosterone even more. They eat super restrictive foods and just make the process absolutely horrible and unenjoyable, and then they gain the weight back extremely fast. It is so short-lived, it's unsustainable, which
is probably a bad description of it because it's so instant where the fat just comes right back. It wasn't even in the realm of being sustainable. But the process that we're doing, it almost becomes extremely difficult to gain fat. I am eating 4,000 to 5,000 calories per day. I'm struggling to hit that amount every single day. If I don't hit it, I will lose 3 to 5 pounds on any given day. Let's say I eat 2,000 calories instead of 4,500 calories. I'm expecting to lose a drastic amount of weight. Every single day is a mission to get all that food in and really to sustain my gains and the size I'm really holding. But for other people, it doesn't really work that way. The way it works is that the fat and the weight just stays on very easily. They'll eat less and less calories, but the weight continues to stay higher. They eat maybe 2,000 to 3,000 calories and they continue to gain even more weight. That is an experience of someone that has insulin resistance and low insulin sensitivity. And that's why we keep coming back to the fact that we have to take on this fat loss journey and take it seriously and get absolutely conditioned and shredded so you guys can recomp correctly. Because the reason most people fail would be because of the chronic insulin resistance and how it blocks muscle from using the nutrients. When I eat all these calories, I really feel like the muscle is stealing the calories from the fat. One, because I feel more energy, the muscle is more pumped visually, but two, I don't see the fat packing on very quickly to an extent where I'm like, oh, it's all going to the fat. My fat is evenly dispersed around my body, as you guys can see, because I'm still conditioned and the muscles look bigger. There's just a fat layer all over my body, but it still looks pretty conditioned and lean. But for the average person that doesn't make this sacrifice and really create a new foundation for the hormones to be able to improve and the metabolism to speed up, it's just going to stay stuck in this experience where you can't eat more food, because if you eat more food, you lose all the conditioning and you get a lot of stubborn visceral fat. And then when you lose the weight, it seems like all the muscle just disappears really quickly, and then the fat kind of stays stubborn in those areas. If you don't take on the shredded phase, that is going to continue to happen. And this comes from eating too often, keeping insulin elevated all day, training without a focus on restoring insulin sensitivity, and then trying to recomp while still carrying too much fat. It's everything I've been talking about, and some of you guys are continuously doing these things and you're just going through the same cycle over and over again. Every single year you're bulking and cutting, and simply wasting time. Your metabolism is getting slower. Your testosterone is going lower. But what I'm finding is that even for myself, I'm 36 now, it's becoming way more critical since I'm getting of age to be insulin sensitive, to not be insulin resistant, to focus on the biggest movers like testosterone and blood glucose levels and blood work. Because the truth is, my joints aren't as good as they used to be. My strength isn't really improving these days. I'm not training as intensely and as hard as I was when I was in my 20s. It's true that we're not going to get those days back. And that means 40, 50, 60-year-old clients of mine, they too need to focus on the biggest movers to get the results that we want. And I cannot explain how important it is that we need to focus on the long-term roadmap. Everything I'm talking about losing fat in order to get the body to perform the way we want it to and how it's supposed to. It's really this factor that takes so long to just conclude that it is the biggest thing that most people just never figure it out. But we've got countless case studies where clients have improved their testosterone to 800 total testosterone, a handful over 1,000, up to 1,400, and even over 1,500. And it's the same game every single time. It's taking on the fat loss journey and then recomposition the body to a much more muscular and leaner physique. And that's how you get all of the organ health, great blood markers, the physique looks impeccable year round. And then when you gain 30, 40 pounds, it all goes into the right places and not so much the fat. So every time you cut back down, it just gets easier and easier, ultimately resulting in a year-round shredded physique. You're gonna gain the fat back, but it's gonna be dispersed evenly across the body. And the more you do these cycles, it just continues to get sharper conditioning, more muscle sustainability, and we'll be here to prove that this stuff works. I continue to implement it myself, and like I said, I've never been this lean at this high of weight, and there's a big reason for this. It's because I focus on the biggest movers for body recomposition, which is getting all the fat off so the body can finally work. But if this hits for you guys, definitely drop a comment or send me a message if you guys want to deep dive into this and maybe start one-on-one coaching for yourself so we can really get this all accomplished for you. And then we can start the journey of losing that fat and building the muscle the right way so you can really avoid eating lower calories for the rest of your life and just enjoy the process a lot more. Because if you don't do it this way, you can expect to really be focusing on a lot less food, not enjoying yourself at social events to the fullest, not being able to kind of splurge on the calories on any given day. With these methods, you only improve your performance, you only improve your muscle size, your appearance. People generally don't like the full shreds, they like the fuller, still shredded physique, and that's what happens. You eat more, you stay shredded, and just get even bigger. So send me a message, drop a comment, hit the like button if you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.